I definitely had this moment where I was thinking, well, if I don't have this job and this amazing job title, and then, my looks are disappearing, what have I got left?
So tell us what it was like working in the beauty industry.
Yeah, a lot of 6-inch heels, a lot of glitter, and a lot of false lashes.
Yeah.
So over 80% of women suffer with moderate to severe symptoms during perimenopause. In my early 40s, I was going through perimenopause. The anxiety was probably one of the first things that I really started to notice, and then the depression that would come often. I got to that point where I wasn't recognizing the girl looking back at me in the mirror. It's a really real thing, this feeling invisible. For me, that was then one of the really pivotal points of me transitioning with my career and wanting to do something that felt good and was about helping other people. There's something in this Ayurvedic healing and these beautiful herbs, we really wanted to help other women. What's most important to me is just appreciating health and well-being over anything else. It's really been a realignment of priorities and values. I felt like the old me again. It was an incredible transition.
I'm Sigourney Cantelo and welcome to Beautiful Inside. I've been a beauty and health journalist reporting on how to be beautiful on the outside for 22 years. Now I want to explore inner beauty as well. I've been influenced to make this shift by my own mental health journey, and it's prompted me to look for people like me who are willing to share their story. How do they care for their inner self while also attending to the outer? What have they learned about finding strength and courage and happiness in today's ever more challenging world? And what are the strategies that they've found to maintain that radiance, that joie de vivre, the inner spark that comes about when our minds and bodies are in balance? Come with me as we go inside the homes, routines, and inner lives of fascinating people. We'll discuss the science and psychology of beauty and self-care and give you the tools to look and feel the very best you ever have, inside and out.
Welcome to Beautiful Inside by Beauticate, where we delve deep into the fascinating interplay between inner and outer beauty and explore how both aspects influence our confidence and self-perception. This season is proudly brought to you by Cure Skincare. Now, I first discovered Cure when they introduced me to their groundbreaking microinfusion system, which is a dermastamping innovation that uses active serums deep within the skin. It wasn't long before I fell in love with their other products, incorporating their LED neck and face masks into my routine. And I've recently been embracing their newly launched microinfusion targeted patches. What I like about Cure Skincare is that they work with leading dermatologists and they pair proven ingredients with really innovative delivery systems. And as you know on Beautiful Inside, we believe in the transformative power of taking time for skincare and self-care. And I'm all about being pro-aging with confidence. Cure shares this vision and strive to enhance our natural beauty through innovative skincare solutions that resonate with our philosophy of celebrating every stage of life with grace and vibrancy. I would recommend you jump on the Cure website and check out their amazing offerings. There are some incredible before and afters on there and videos. I also have a discount code for you. Plus, we are also running an amazing competition where you can win one of 5 of their customizable LED masks. So I'll pop both of those links in our show notes.
Beautiful Inside acknowledges the traditional custodians of the land that this podcast is recorded on, and we pay our respects to elders past, present, and emerging.
Welcome to Beautiful Inside. I'm Sigourney Cantelo. So I don't have all my filming equipment here. I'm on the road. I'm in Mullumbimby at the moment, so you have to excuse the al fresco introduction. But I wanted to introduce you to this next episode, which is for Menopause Awareness Month, which is October, and I realised that I am in the throes of perimenopause recently, and it's funny because I have had a whole lot of physical symptoms that I didn't really put down to peri, and it wasn't until I was posting on social that I had people saying, peri, peri, peri. The thing is that hormones affect every system in the body. So I saw a menopause doctor and she confirmed that, yes, I am in the throes of perimenopause, and she's put me on progesterone as a start, and then we'll look at doing some other supplementing of hormones down the track. And it's a common mistake because women feel like quite often women have these symptoms, they can't put it down to anything, they go to the doctor, there's no diagnosis. Like me, I had reflux, I had bloating, I had constipation, gastrointestinal symptoms that I've never had before. On the other flip side, I also had anxiety, like through the roof. And I sometimes wonder if perhaps I had known that it was perimenopause and I got the right treatment for it last year, whether maybe I wouldn't have ended up, going into South Pacific Private and, feeling like my whole world was crashing down because my anxiety and my depression was so bad. So that, it's food for thought there. I had low mood, hair fall, lots of hair falling out, like itchy scalp, which can be another side effect. It affects every system in our body. I caught up with Jodie Matthews, who's the founder of Ashaya, which is a beautiful women's healthcare brand. They have some beautiful products that are specifically designed for menopause and perimenopause. And I caught up with Jodie, and Jodie and I have known each other for years. And her story was really interesting. And I thought I'd sit down with her and talk to her about what made her develop Ashaya. And we also have a beautiful giveaway with Ashaya. So all the details are in the show notes below, so you can try the brand yourself. But I love hearing Jodie's story about how she dealt with her perimenopause, and she has some different ways, down the Ayurvedic route of dealing with the symptoms. And I hope you enjoy our chat. Well, I've got the wonderful Jodie Matthews here, who's co-founder of Ashaya and fellow perimenopause warrior,
yes,
victim,
that's
victim
right.
/ warrior.
Warrior.
And I thought we would chat to you, Jodes, about everything, like our time in beauty together, the brand that you have built, and your experience with Peri. So
Right, let's do it.
yeah, so Jodes, you and I have known each other for a long time,
years?
close to
Yeah.
20 years, I'd say.
17, 18
yeah,
years,
so we met when you were at MAC.
yes,
And
yeah.
so tell us what it was like, working in the beauty industry, it's pretty high paced.
Oh yeah, and God, look, my time at MAC was incredible.
Yeah.
It was, the brand was flying. We were in huge growth. We got to become, the number one beauty brand in the market whilst I was there. And it was incredible, like the experiences that I had the privilege to go through. The fashion weeks,
Yes.
the events, like MAC no one put an event on like MAC.
That's right.
Would do.
Like Dita Von Teese, I remember that was, you brought Dita Von Teese out for
Yeah,
Fashion Week.
exactly.
And she did a burlesque show in a martini glass or something.
Yeah, and look, the collections as well, like the Dame Edna collection, I think MAC were really at the forefront there for a lot of years in terms of iconic collaborations and partnerships.
Absolutely.
So, and I got to experience so much with the brand, a lot of travel and,
Yes.
got to work with the most amazing people as
Yeah.
well. But yes, it was, a lot of 6-inch heels, a lot of glitter, and a lot of false lashes.
Yes.
So,
Well, it was my entree into beauty. Well, I'd been in beauty journalism for a while, but when I started work at Vogue, my first trip was actually a MAC trip.
Yeah, right.
And it was for Viva Glam.
Yep.
And it was like the ultimate baptism of fire. It was at Milk Studios. It was Lady Gaga and Cyndi Lauper for Viva Glam.
Yeah.
So I was to interview both of these legendary songstresses, and I walked in and my first sight was a pretty much naked man covered in bronzing cream and sparkles wandering across, and I looked at the makeup artist and she went, "Oh, that's the ass model." And I was like, "Oh, the ass model, of course it is."
Yeah, no. we had quite a unique dress code.
Yes.
Like, even though we were part of Estee Lauder Corporation,
Yeah.
who would follow, some kind of corporate dress guidelines like MAC, we were just out there on a night.
Yeah.
We could turn up in
But it was all black, wasn't it? It was always black.
All black, because you expressed yourself with the colour on your face. So it was a black uniform, but, there was, we could get away with anything, my God.
What were the wildest things that you wore and makeup that you did?
I used to get around in like leather shorts.
I remember.
And like 6-inch heels.
You looked incredible.
Yeah.
6-inch heels.
Yeah, I've still got the leather shorts. It's
Do you?
It's been quite a while since I've popped those on. But
What were some of the craziest, funniest, wildest things that you remember from the time?
I think the year that this was New Zealand Fashion Week, and we bought out Richie Rich and Pamela Anderson.
Richie Rich is in...
He was the founder of a fashion brand that Pamela was the face of, and they
Okay.
came out.
I don't remember
And
him.
he was literally going down the runway in a pair of roller skates with Pamela Anderson literally wearing next to nothing, and we hosted them backstage.
Do you remember what year that was?
Oh God, it probably was 2007, 2008.
Yeah, okay, yep.
Yeah.
You hosted them backstage.
Yes. yes.
So what were they like?
Oh my
What was
God.
Pam like?
Oh, she was a lot of fun,
Was
actually.
she?
Yeah.
Did you like the documentary?
No, I haven't. Oh, yes, no, her documentary.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I think just an incredible transition.
Has she changed a lot since
Yeah, totally.
when you knew her? Because she's so
totally.
different now, the no makeup thing and...
Well, that's it. Back when when we had her backstage and our artists were doing the makeup, like, she wore a lot of makeup, a lot of, really thick, heavy fake lashes,
that's
a lot of
right.
liner.
That was her look.
And, I think to see her transition now into, I guess what we're kind of talking about today is into
Yeah.
this well-being space, and how she's now so natural and, all about her garden
Yes.
and growing her own vegetables. And, yeah, I think it's been really interesting to see
There's a
someone
lot-
like that
Yes.
transition.
Well, it's a bit like your
Yeah,
story.
exactly.
You've had a bit of a change in
Yeah.
lifestyle too.
Yeah,
Do you want
totally.
to tell us how that all happened and what
Yeah.
transpired?
Well, I think, I kind of got to a point with, this corporate career that I had. And, as I was saying before, there was a lot of travel, there was a lot of events, I wasn't home a lot, I wasn't looking after myself in terms of health and well-being. And I think, in my early 40s, I was going through perimenopause. And I think at the time I didn't even realise that that's what it was that I was experiencing.
No, so many of us don't.
And I think, the anxiety was probably one of the first things that I really started to notice, the anxiety, and then, the depression that would come often, after being through bouts of anxiety. And, for me, I really needed to just check out and look after myself. I had to put my health first. And so I think one of the first things that I did was I actually got onto a really great kinesiologist. And I went in and I had quite a few sessions with her and unpacked a lot of things that I needed to, really talk through and talk about. And I think, for such a long time, being a general manager and having a really large team of people, I was the counsellor to everyone in the team. I had the box of tissues on my table in my office, and everyone would come to me and unload as, and my role as their leader was to do that and to take that on. And I think for a really long time, I didn't have that person to be able to go and do that to. So I think...
So you took it all on, but you didn't have anyone to unload your stuff to.
Yeah.
And that was a kinesiologist?
Yeah, and so I went through a few sessions to kind of just talk through how I was feeling and these new feelings that I was experiencing, this like anxiety and this, losing a lot of my confidence and, not really feeling like myself anymore. There was some really bizarre initial parts to perimenopause that probably aren't spoken about a lot, and you often don't realise it actually is part and parcel of what's going on with your hormones. You just think that you're just going crazy. And you're losing your mind, like what's going on.
Yep.
So yeah, that was the start of my journey, probably in my early 40s, maybe 42, 43.
Yeah, right. So I'm really interested in the kinesiology part of things because I've sort of started doing a bit of that myself, and I think it's really powerful. So what was your experience like?
Look, I think what her and I kind of brought up and worked through was this fear that I had of aging. And I think when you're being part of the beauty industry where, it's all about how you look and how you present yourself. And I think, I got to that point where I wasn't recognising the girl looking back at me in the mirror. And, it's a really real thing, this feeling invisible, that where, when you're young and full of energy and you're really vibrant and you walk into a room and you can command attention. And I think, honestly, like once you get into your 40s, that kind of, it doesn't happen as much. And I definitely had this moment where I was, thinking, well, if I don't have this job and this amazing job title and then, my looks are disappearing, like what have I got left? And I think, the really good thing that this kinesiologist got me to work through was that the wisdom and experience, like that's what I really needed to focus on and to hold on to. And I think for me that was then one of the really pivotal points of me transitioning with my career and wanting to do something that felt good and was about helping other people.
Yeah.
and becoming a little bit more selfless and wanting to help other people because of my own experiences and my own knowledge. Really appreciating the wisdom that...
So wanting to help other women, going through the same sort of thing.
Yep.
How interesting. And tell me, like, energetically and, like, what she did. Like, was there a lot of muscle testing? And what does she... Yeah, like, for someone who doesn't understand kinesiology, like, what's the process? Because it's pretty woo-woo if you've never done it.
Yeah, it is. I think, it's all about energy and where you're feeling energy. And I think, you know, she was amazing at really tapping into, like, where I could sense different shapes, different spaces within my body.
Wow.
And potentially just where I had blockages.
Yeah.
Like, I had this thing with my throat where I had this blockage here, and that was about me not feeling comfortable talking to other people about how I was feeling.
Wow.
You know, I would put on a brave face and, you know, I'd obviously open up a little bit to my husband and my family, but to friends, anyone that knew me, they saw me as this strong, I've always got my shit together kind of girl.
So did you have a sore throat? Were these things actually presenting as physical symptoms and you went to her because you wanted her to help you with them?
No. Like the throat thing was a sensation that I felt when I was in with her, but it's also a recurring dream I have as well, that I actually can't speak.
Oh, wow.
I can't actually scream out. I actually lose my voice. And she, you know, worked that through as well, that was all related to the fact that I wasn't able to be vulnerable with people and share my story and say that I wasn't okay, you know?
So how did she help you to navigate these issues, and what did she do within the sessions, and then also what did you take away? Like, how did you actually put it into practice?
Well, it was really about being able to open up, you know, and so I started to have a lot more honest and open conversations with my partner, with, you know, family, with close girlfriends, and to actually say that,
This is happening to me.
Yeah, and I haven't always been okay, and that sometimes I do need someone to just hear me out and a shoulder to cry on, you know.
Amazing. And what was the reaction like? And did you suddenly feel so relieved and like, oh, why haven't I just been a bit more open?
Yeah. Look, it's still, to be honest, a struggle.
Okay,
you know?
So it's not like you just flicked a switch and suddenly became this person who downwards and...
Oh, no. I didn't suddenly just go to being this, you know, oversharer. And I think maybe that comes from being, you know, the eldest in a large family, that you're kind of the one that looks after everyone else. And
so this is a big deal for you to come here and tell us your story.
Yeah.
You're not like one of those, like, I'm an open book, I'm just... Blah,
no. I think, you know, I think through the process of, you know, developing, you know, the Ashaya brand and, you know, writing content and writing blogs, you know, one of the first blogs I wrote was my own perimenopause story.
Yeah, I love that story. It's really lovely.
And I thought I needed to be honest and open, because if I was feeling like this, there was going to be a whole lot of other women that were feeling that way as well. And so, you know, part of our brand was not only about creating beautiful products to help balance hormones, but creating this community where women could feel supported. So I knew that I really had to take that step and start sharing.
You've got to walk the talk. Yeah.
I might be oversharing soon.
No, I love oversharers. They're my people. No, I think it's, I mean, my experience is, as you know, like coming out with my story and vulnerability is so important, and it's how we connect as humans, and it's what we need from each other. To really feel safe and to feel heard and to feel validated. And so I think it's wonderful that you've done that. And so you've had a bit of a tough time health-wise. Like, talk us through that.
Yeah.
So was that all happening at the same time as seeing the kinesiologist, or before that?
Yeah, it's kind of been long-standing issues that I've had from, basically since my early 20s. I suffered with chronic cystitis. Like, I would literally every month have a bladder infection.
The burning, worst.
You know, stuck on antibiotics, then you'd get thrush, and then
oh my God,
then you'd get your next bladder infection. And I was on this merry-go-round, and I'd been to a couple of specialists, and you know, their solution was, you know, putting me on a low-dose antibiotic forever, and that was the solution. So it wasn't actually until one fashion week here in Sydney that I literally collapsed.
collapsed.
walking out of a show and trying to get myself up George Street into a medical centre because I was in so much pain.
The pain?
I was in so much pain.
What sort of pain? Like shooting?
Lower back.
Lower back?
Lower back pain.
It's an infection.
So I knew it had gone into my kidney. So this was during Fashion Week. So I
and you're probably done to the nines, trotting down in your 6-inch heels.
Absolutely. So I trotted myself up George Street, went into a doctor, and he said, yeah, it definitely sounds like a kidney infection. What are you doing? You're being really silly. Explained how I was feeling, and he said, women back in the day used to die of kidney infections. He said, you need to take this kind of thing seriously, because I was like, I'm really busy. I've got Fashion Week to get through. And he referred me to a urologist, gynecologist at St Vincent's. And my God, thank God I met this amazing professor, Professor Halen.
Yeah.
And he got me in, he did all of this urodynamic testing. He found that I actually had really bad bladder performance. I had damage to the lining of my bladder, so went in for some surgery. And I kind of go back and see him every couple of years, and he does a little bit of maintenance.
Like a surgical maintenance?
Yeah, just a little bit of surgical maintenance on
every few years.
Yeah, so I actually had something mechanically wrong. Like it wasn't just recurring infections. But, there was this one time that I knew that I needed to probably go in for a little bit of maintenance, and I was actually experiencing a little bit more pain than normal. And I went in and I came out of the procedure, and he said to me, you've got prolapse of your uterus.
What?
And I said, oh, okay, which is really unusual when you've never had a baby or carried a baby. But I had a history of prolapse in the family, like my mum and my aunties and grandmothers, etc. So, then I was back in for uterus suspension surgery, which then took a couple of weeks to get over that. So I think, I had, I don't know, I kind of explained it like, all my piping and waterworks down there just wouldn't.
Poor thing. We're just not working
properly.
Yeah. Oh, love. And so how did that sort of manifest in terms of, as you were starting to age and everything that was going on, corporate culture, like did everything explode, or did you kind of have a slow sort of burn of like, something's got to change? Like the party culture was quite intense.
Yeah, absolutely. Particularly in the days of MAC, because we had just so many events and so many,
drinking every night.
Drinking every night. And then, of course, with the amount of hours you'd work, like I never used my kitchen. I never cooked a meal. You'd just eat out, you'd drink then. Mm-hmm. And, those kind of things were just not good for my bladder and everything that was going on down there also. And, I think it took a little while to kind of completely step out. I left MAC, and then I went and did some time with Jalique and a little bit of time with O&M as well. But I knew that, I knew that I needed to slow down and to really make a bigger change and reassess what it was that I was going to do. And that's, when I went on this new path.
So was that when you discovered Ayurveda, or at what point did you, what was the next path? Or you moved to Bayview? Was it like, okay, we're going to move to the beaches? Or
I actually made the move to the beaches when I was at MAC. And the reason behind that is I had an amazing business coach for a little while I was at MAC. And she got me to create a mood board of what was important in my life. And, look, it was, arts and crafts afternoon, I got my scissors out and cut out some pictures, and I put a board together. And it was the beach, it was trees, it was animals. And she was like, okay, so your life, you're like living in Darlinghurst, basically living in King's Cross, not a tree in sight, you never go to the beach, you're never in the water, like,
this doesn't compute.
Yeah, exactly.
Computer says no.
Yeah, exactly. The computer was saying no. And so, Sam and I had spent a Christmas holiday up. We'd hired a house just off Brooklyn on the Hawkesbury River. And we're like, oh my God, this is amazing. We're definitely going to retire up here. And we kind of thought, well, why are we waiting for retirement to have this much better lifestyle? So we actually bought our home up here 9 years ago. So So we made that change, and we continue the commute, back in, and I would go back into the office. And
gosh. So that's about an hour's drive, or?
Oh, not if you're getting up early. So,
okay. So
get up early, beat the traffic. We'd get into our, I'd be at my desk at like 7:30 in the morning. But so it wasn't
That takes it out of you though.
Oh yeah, particularly then, because, you know, ideally you'd want to leave at 4:30, but the reality of that happening.
No.
Yeah, so you were still like working really long hours. So it was a gradual kind of transition.
Yes. And I live up here too. So once you're up here, it's like you find less and less reasons to go into the city.
It has to be a really implication. You know, like going across Narrabeen Bridge is
a big deal.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming up here, you know, to Eleonora. So you grew up in rural Tasmania.
Yes.
So this was like, you know, almost a natural extension of, you know, being around nature and...
Yeah, exactly. I think, you know, for a long time, the bright lights of the city and all that came with that was exciting. And I think, you know, eventually you do want to go back to your roots. And so, you know, when you grow up in a rural part of the country and, you know, you grow your own vegetables in your garden, you know, there was, that was a strong pull for me, was to get back to that kind of, you know, more of my roots. And
simple life.
Yeah.
And your grandmother was quite into herbs and natural remedies?
Yeah, so my grandmother, you know, she would have a remedy for anything, you know, it wouldn't matter what condition you had or any friends had, you know, she
Was it homeopathy or herbalists or...?
More herbalists, like, you know, she would look something up and, you know, this was back well before Google, you know, she would have her little book that was kept in her linen press and she'd get it out and she'd look something up, or she'd go down to the local little herbal store where there was a, you know, a consulting naturopath, and she would, you know, find solutions. And I think that's always stuck with me. And, you know, one of the most beautiful things was when I started studying natural remedies at Nature Care College, my mum actually posted up my grandmother's, and I lost my grandmother 25 years ago. She's a really important part of my life, but she posted up her little Blackmore's herbal guide, and it's got all of her little handwritten notes and everything in it. So I think it's really special. And that's.
Do you remember some of the remedies she used to do for you as a child?
Oh God, no, I don't. It was like the Swedish bitters, you know, like that. I don't know if you've ever had that. Or that is like a tincture that basically is a solution for everything. Sore throat, you know, cuts and grazes.
Oh, wow.
And then she was a big believer in cell salts. So, and my grandmother would be a little bit anxious as well, you know, as most mothers and grandmothers are. And, you know, phosphate was a cell salt, which apparently is really good for just, you know.
How do you take it?
It's almost like a powdery little tablet, and it just dissolves on your tongue. And she would, you know, if you were feeling a bit, you know,
bit wired, she'd hand you no Valium. This is much before the days of Valium.
Exactly.
Wow, how fascinating. So tell me about your journey with natural therapies and Ayurveda.
So when I kind of stepped away from corporate work, I got back into studying. It was great. My husband was incredibly supportive and said, okay, now is your time to look after yourself and go and do your thing. And quite a few years ago, I'd done a Ayurvedic detox. It was actually a book written by this guy called Dr. Yoshi.
Yes.
Princess Diana,
yes.
I think, worked with him. You know. Oh, look, I love Princess Diana. Oh. So I got these books years ago and I did this detox and I felt amazing. And so I kind of dragged these old books out of the back of my bookcase and looked at them, and it reignited this real interest in, you know, Ayurvedic medicine. And I actually saw an Ayurvedic practitioner just here in Seaforth, and I did a at-home assisted panchakarma. I don't know if you've heard much about panchakarmas.
You told me a little bit about it when we met up, but tell me again.
Which is an Ayurvedic detox. So I did this one at home. Like, you can go to a centre, like you go to like an Ayurvedic spa or wellness clinic and do it in there. So I would go in every couple of days and get different treatments done. But, you know, there's a combination of treatments, including oiling of the head and the body, being kind of put into like this box of steaming herbs, and then taking all of these different Ayurvedic herbs and tinctures.
Wow.
And
do they taste terrible?
Oh, God, yes.
Just like Chinese herbs,
Yeah, like dirt.
Mud,
Yeah, really quite hard to stomach. And then following an Ayurvedic diet, which consisted of this meal called khichdi.
What's that made of? Like, what's it taste like? It's yummy, isn't it? You said you liked it.
Yeah, I really like it now. Like the base is rice and moong dal, like a split bean.
Yeah.
And then I would put like sweet potato and a bit of spinach.
Yeah.
And a lot of
So very warming
spices.
stuff.
Yeah.
Are you pitta, vata?
Which vata is your air and wind dosha, with body constitution, and you're more prone to anxiety.
Yeah, I think I was vata too. Yeah.
So when your vata is off the Richter, like mine was when I went and saw this woman.
Yeah.
I really needed to be grounded. And to be warm. And I think, one of the things that I was doing is, I was like eating lots of crackers and salads.
The worst thing for vata, right?
And the worst thing for when you're actually anxious. And I still think about that now. And I, when I have those days where I'm a little bit uptight or not feeling as good, I know that I need to nourish my body with something really warm and grounding.
Yeah. So curries and...
Yeah, I make so many curries now. Dal, just nice soups.
Yeah, the spices are so good.
Yeah. And then even in summer, I'll make sure I've got warm vegetables in my salad.
Yes.
So it's some warm element to what I'm eating.
Okay. Do you drink warm water and all that too, or that's more of a Chinese thing?
Look, I go.
Or is that an Indian thing too? Or?
No, that is Ayurvedic. Yeah,
because the Chinese believe it too.
The cold water basically puts out your digestive fire in your stomach.
And you don't want that.
No, you want to
the burning.
The digestive fire burning.
That makes sense.
So yeah, I go through periods, like
so nice and refreshing in summer to have a glass of cold water though.
Yeah, some days I really just want some cold water, but then I know some days I do need to drink.
Yeah. Okay, so how long was your Pachakama?
I did a 28-day.
Wow.
Yeah. And so through the combination of, the different treatments that I was having, and then also these herbal tinctures and things that I was taking, which included hormone balancing, because when I went in to see her and I was, I was 43, I hadn't had a period in a really long time.
So how long ago was this?
43, yeah, so 5 years ago.
5 years, okay.
I hadn't had a period.
You hadn't had a period,
Yep.
so you were definitely in the swing of peri.
Yep. And so I started taking some Ayurvedic herbs, which, well known for how good they are at balancing hormones. And after 28 days, I got period back to a regular cycle.
Wow.
I never felt more energetic. Yeah, I felt like the old me again. It was an incredible transition. I'd gone from being really, really low to feeling
so your
amazing
anxiety
again.
Was gone, your...
Yeah, well, a lot more under control.
Yeah. Had you had anxiety before?
Not to the level that I was experiencing.
And did you get to a point where the doctor suggested medication or anything like that?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Did you try it?
GP. Yeah, I did. I tried, actually an antidepressant.
An SSRI?
Yeah, went on one for not very long at all. I only went on for a couple of months. It just didn't agree with me. I didn't like how I was feeling. Yeah. I didn't like how I couldn't feel anything.
Yeah, right. Some people say that.
Yeah.
Just feel numb.
Yeah. And so I thought, you know what? I need to attempt to get myself better using some natural.
So what are those herbs?
So look, a lot of these amazing Ayurvedic herbs make up the basis of our ashaya formulas.
Surely.
So I think one of the key Ayurvedic herbs for female hormone balance is shatavari.
Okay.
Which is, it's actually part of the asparagus family.
Oh, really?
Just for some extra herbal.
There you go.
And so, yes, I was taking that. Ashwagandha, Withania somnifera, which you've probably heard about. It's an amazing adaptogen, but it's also a sexual health tonic. So for perimenopausal women, it's actually really good for libido. Yeah. That's another really important.
So you were taking these as tinctures and things, but then you put them now into your beautiful formulations.
Yes, and also made it
that taste a lot nicer. They're raspberry leaf, isn't it, that you used?
Yeah, we
use
really
natural
raspberry and also
I take it.
Beetroot. Yeah,
and beetroot. That's right. Yeah,
and to just give it a nice palatable flavour. Because I think it's all right to kind of take quite intense tinctures or ground down root herbs for a short period, but you know, we really wanted our formulas to be a general everyday health tonic with the hormone balancing benefits as well, and supporting, you know, your main symptoms with PMS and period. So that's our inflow formula, and then our reglow formula is obviously the
one I've been using.
Support.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's really beautiful. There's a little bit of spice to it, which is kind of warming. It is that warming sort of thing.
Exactly.
And you can have it with warm water, because I quite like to do that in the morning, when I'm, especially in winter when I go after yoga.
With warm water.
Yeah, it's beautiful. So with the Ayurveda, are there any other, what are the principles of Ayurveda, and how did you apply them to your life, your daily life?
Well, I think, you know, it's a very complex system.
How long was the course that you did?
It was 1 year.
Wow.
Yeah, it was one night a week for a whole year.
And what's your certificate in, what's it called?
Certificate in Ayurvedic healing.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I can actually, you know, help.
Heal.
Well, no, I'm hardly a
Heal
healer.
me. Fix me.
No, but I could actually, you know, provide some assistance with someone and give them some guidelines around some Ayurvedic principles to include in their life, you know, from a coaching kind of perspective. Yeah, so...
Why don't you launch yourself as a coach? You could totally do it.
I'm struggling at the moment. It's just like keeping up with everything I've got going on.
I know. Just get the house done first.
Exactly. I know. Get this house renovated. So I think one of the really key things that kind of stuck with me was understanding how your digestive system works. Now, we talked about it before with the cold water, but in Ayurvedic principles, it's all about your Agni, which is your digestive fire. So if you think about, you know, our body clocks and the way that the sun rises every morning, we need to appreciate that our digestive system works in the same way. So,
and like the circadian rhythms.
Yeah, exactly. And so when you're getting up in the morning, you need to start to fuel your body, and then you need to be eating during the day. And then as you know, start to retire and slow down and go to sleep, you shouldn't be actually digesting your biggest meal of the day.
Yes.
And I think for a really long time I did that. I would get up, I would have nothing, you know, have coffee, have another coffee.
Fasting,
raid the biscuit jar in the office at 3 o'clock. Then, you know.
So what, you wouldn't even eat lunch?
Oh, if you had time, you would eat something at your desk, or you'd grab something that was left over in the kitchen. And then you would get to like 7 o'clock at night, and then you would most likely stop on your way home, go and have, you know, a heavy pasta meal, a couple of glasses of wine, and then would get into bed and wonder why your sleep quality was terrible, and that you were waking up groggy and not feeling really good. So I think one of the things that I really took away from my Ayurvedic studies was just respecting my digestive system more, and understanding that when I get up, I need to fire up that Agni, like stoke the fire. And it doesn't mean that you have to have a massive big breakfast, because I don't think I'm ever going to be a massive big breakfast person, but just having something, whether it's even a little bit of fruit, and then making lunch my biggest meal of the day. So lunch is your dinner plate, and your dinner is your side plate, so that you're not going to bed and your body's trying to digest what you've just eaten, but you allow your body to heal, repair, and deal with, which is toxins, which then leads into another principle that I've religiously applied since learning, is tongue scraping.
Oh, right. Everyone talks about that now.
And there's a reason. So when you wake up in the morning, that coating on your tongue is actually the toxins that your body has processed. So instead of like getting up and having that glass of water and washing the toxins back in, getting up and scraping your tongue with a copper tongue scraper.
Yep. Do you have them, ashaya?
Stay tuned.
I was like, I need to get one of those.
Yeah. But yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm addicted to it.
What about oil pulling? Do you believe in that too?
I tried it for a little while, but do you know what? I think maybe because I'm always doing 100 things at once, like to stand still and slosh it around. Like I'm like standing in the bathroom going, oh, okay, I've got to get onto this. I've got to get the washing.
You can do that while you're pulling.
Oh yeah,
I did it a few times, but I just found it a bit ugh.
Yeah, and look, I think that's with anything. You know, when you learn something new, you get so into it, and you want to like change your whole life and do absolutely everything. And I think, you know, with Ayurvedic, principles. It's just those couple of things that I know that have really made a big impact on my life that I'll hold on to. And I don't judge myself. I don't do everything perfectly anymore. You know, it's okay. We're all human.
Yeah,
you know?
some self-compassion.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And what are some of the other, like, do you do like the body massage?
Yes. So Abhyanga.
Yes.
Abhyanga. So look, I've always loved oils. I think because my skin is
I'm obsessed with your oils. I love them.
My skin is so dry. So I think when we started looking
Can I just do this while you're talking? Because I really want to just... It's so beautiful. I've got my little self-care corner upstairs. I'll show you. And it's got all your beautiful products sitting right there.
So when we started looking at developing a range to support hormones that was inspired by Ayurveda, it was really important for us to have an oil in the range because act of self-care.
Yes.
And I think for us as well, it was about women just taking that moment out and it becoming a ritual. So you get up in the morning, you know, and you have your supplement.
Yep.
You take that time out to massage a beautiful oil on after you shower, pop a beautiful oil onto your face. And that just that moment.
Yeah.
And, you know, the other thing that we've done with the oils as well is we've included some beautiful essential oils that have some amazing aromatherapy benefits with, you know, mood and uplifting, but then also some hormone balancing ones as well.
Oh, what's a hormone balancing one?
Well, in aromatherapy, because I did study a little bit of aromatherapy when I did my natural remedies certificate, is basically any of your florals. So if you look, nature talks to us.
Yeah.
So if you think about flowers, you know, there's a lot of resemblance of the female anatomy.
Yeah, totally. Georgia O'Keeffe knew that.
That's exactly right. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
So if you think about your florals, so your rose, geranium, lavender, ylang ylang, they're all associated with the female hormone and reproductive system. So yeah, and I think that's why probably traditionally, you know, women have always used rose and lavender in creams and potions, and
we're just attracted to it.
We're attracted to it as a benefit. Yeah.
And you spoke so beautifully before about the hormone balancing herbs. What are some other, like from your natural remedies experience, what are some of the other ways that we can naturally balance our hormones?
Well, look, I think one of the key things is reducing stress.
Yeah.
So, you know, hormones all work beautifully together. So if one's out, you know, another one will be up, you know. So in order to get them playing a little bit more harmoniously, then one of the key things is to get your cortisol down. And, you know, I know for probably a lot of years I was running on really, really high cortisol levels. You know, when you're constantly in that flight or fight response of deadlines, getting things done, you know, running at a really frantic pace, your cortisol's high. So as a result of that, you're going to be low in the other hormones, your other sex hormones that you need to balance out.
Yeah.
So I think one of the key things is just slowing down. You know, we all need a little bit of stress.
I have so much trouble with that.
But yeah, it's really about taking things a little bit slower and trying to manage that. And I think one of the key things from an, I guess, natural perspective that I have found to be really helpful with hormone balancing during perimenopause is just reducing my alcohol intake.
Yes.
And I know you've been on that journey.
I've been on that journey.
And on that journey. I'm on that journey as well. And I think, you know, as we go through perimenopause, our body is trying to process excess hormones, particularly excess estrogen. And so if we're loading our liver up with toxins, and, you know, alcohol is probably one of the worst toxins that we can be putting into our body regularly. And you probably know, just like me, like just all of a sudden you just couldn't handle it.
It was so weird. Yeah. It was like, and that was at the time when I was probably drinking the most. Like I was in denial because I think it was over lockdown and we'd started having cocktails at 3 or 4 just to cope because the kids were driving us crazy. Yeah. And we also had these wonderful neighbours who just would drink wine all the time, and they'd turn up at our doorstep with a bottle of wine, and we just drank every night of the week. And was it hard for you to quit drinking?
Well,
or not quit, but like whatever you did, like to reduce.
You know, I think reduce my dependency. I think there's a time there. You know, when you are really stressed, you think that it's that glass of wine,
you need it,
or that glass of spirits is going to help you to unwind, and it does for that short moment. But you know, you're not waking up refreshed. You know, you're not feeling good, you're not energetic. And look, it is a hard transition because it impacts your social life.
Totally.
And,
yeah.
I think...
And you start to not get invited places because you're not drinking.
You're that,
you're that person who's not drinking.
So I think, I've kind of... Look, I've not drunk alcohol at all for, I think the longest I've gone is maybe 4 months.
Yeah.
And I try to during
And how
the year.
amazing did you feel? It is life-changing.
It is.
I was like a born-again teetotaler. I was going around going, guys, no, but actually, have you ever had any time off alcohol? And people will just get like, okay, shut up.
Yeah.
So, you have to be careful not to become a social pariah.
Well, exactly.
But isn't it amazing?
It is. You do feel really, really good. And I got to that point where I was like, can I keep doing this? Can I make that transition? And I haven't made that choice yet.
I know, me too. And I know I should, and I know I would be so much happier and so much more productive.
So, look, I'm still on a journey, but what I have actually done is I've transitioned from wine and champagne. I was such a champagne
Me
girl.
too, I still am.
But
still my favourite.
I've gone to white spirits, so a gin and tonic or a vodka soda. And
so you don't even touch champagne or wine now?
I actually can't stomach it much
What
anymore.
happens?
I just don't feel good.
Yeah.
It does not agree with me at the moment.
I get reflux.
Yeah, so, look, it's a work in progress.
Wow, isn't it? Yeah, and it's just crazy because so many women I've spoken to who are in the clutches of peri or are in their, or in menopause, and it's just like your body just suddenly goes, no more alcohol, we're just switching off now.
It's because your liver's overloaded with processing the excess hormones.
And the anxiety, that 2 a.m., 3 a.m., like if you have a drink, you just go, okay, I'm not going to be sleeping tonight.
No, your quality of sleep is really significantly diminished.
And you and I were talking about peri and HRT. So you decided not to go down the HRT path.
Yes, look, I haven't at this point, and I'm hoping that I can continue.
Are you against them in theory? Like, do you think that it's not like...
No, look, I think everybody has their own needs, and I think unfortunately for our generation, we've grown up on the contraceptive pill, so we've grown up on synthetic hormones. I see a lot of friends that have then gone through the IVF route, so again, a whole lot of other synthetic hormones, and then, I think...
You didn't have a good experience with the pill either.
No, I didn't. And look, I came off the contraceptive pill in my mid-30s at the advice of a naturopath.
What do you think it did to you?
Well, I actually think that it actually just made me function better. And, I think...
when you're on it? No, when you got off
I
it.
came off it.
Right.
And I think when you actually think about, when you are on hormonal contraceptive pill, you're not ovulating. And I think we're never taught that. I didn't know that I wasn't ovulating.
Yeah.
Like I thought when I, took the sugar pill and I bled, that...
No, you're right. No one tells you what's going on with your body.
GPs don't necessarily tell you that. And I think... I'm just grateful I came off it when I did. Then I actually got, maybe 7 years of ovulation in, because for a woman, we're supposed to ovulate.
Yeah.
And I wish that I knew that.
Yeah.
I wish I could go back and tell that to 18, 19-year-old girl, let your body do what it's supposed to do.
Yeah.
It's a critical process of a female's body. We need to ovulate.
It is. I mean, I've got an IUD and I've got the Kylena, so it's like having had heavy, painful periods that sent me to bed for a couple of days. I'm now like, it's like being, free of that. So I totally get. From a natural perspective, I'm like, I should get this thing out, and I should go back to my, my womanly cycle. But at the same time, I'm like, just so nice not having a period.
That's the thing, everybody's in a very different place, and so there's not a right answer for everybody, and a lot of people do suffer with, PCOS or endometriosis and incredibly heavy periods, and sometimes, being on some kind of contraception actually makes their life a whole lot easier.
Yeah.
So I think, everyone's got to find their way through the best way they can.
Yeah, totally. Well, I've recently started hormones. So, because remember we caught up and I told you that I was, I thought, I realised that so many of my symptoms were peri, and it was just like this, oh my God. Like even you know, did I need to go? Like, would I, if I had sorted out my hormones, would I have ended up in a treatment centre? Like, would I have actually gotten that bad?
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy. So
I think we underestimate
just how much
hormones impact our life, you know, and, you know, women, we're like this, you know. An Ayurvedic practitioner explained it to me one day as, you know, women, we follow this moon cycle. So, you know, we're on this 28-day
lunar,
cycle.
Yeah.
So we're up and down, and we're going to have lower periods in the month where we're more introspective, and then we're going to have times during this cycle where you're extroverted, you're feeling really good, and you know, and men are opposite. They're on this sun cycle. Like, they get up, they get this shot of testosterone, shot of cortisol, go to bed,
and their testosterone maintains the same time, like, all through their lives. It's it's ridiculous.
So I think, you know, I think we just need to be kinder to ourselves, and I think just be more understanding of the
waxing and the waning.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So ashaya is a beautiful result of your journey. What inspired you to create a brand? Like, you know, it's one thing to go and do Ayurveda and, you know, incorporate some practices, but then to build a whole brand.
Yeah. I think we really wanted to help other women. I think, you know, myself and Siobhan, you know, working in the beauty industry.
So just to backtrack, Siobhan is your business partner, co-founder, who I also knew.
From Beauty Days.
No, so she was working at Lauder.
Tom Ford. Lauder, so
at the time that you were at Mac.
Yeah, so we knew each other from those days. So we've known each other a really long time. And I think when, you know, you've been in the beauty industry for that long and you're surrounded by women. So, you know, you hear every woman's story, whether it's, you know, heavy periods, not being able to work properly on day one of your cycle, or, you know, when I was getting into my 40s and hearing women in their 40s going, oh my God, what is wrong?
Yeah.
Why am I losing
Has the world gone mad, or I'm mad? Like, what the hell?
So I think, you know, and Siobhan had just had her daughter, little Ruby, so she was going through, you know, the joys of postpartum.
She's a bit younger than us, yes. Yeah.
And we kind of were like, you know, there's something in this Ayurvedic healing and these beautiful herbs, like, we really need to help other women. And so, and, you know, we saw that there was a gap in the market at, you know, 3 or 4 years ago, there really wasn't a lot of natural
around hormones and periods, and
or brands specifically talking to hormones as well. You know, there might have been brands that had, you know, a hormone blend as part of their bigger range of herbal medicines, but you know, we really saw that opportunity, and to kind of cross between, you know, we're not a vitamin brand, we're not a skincare brand, we're a well-being, and I think
the ritual of it is beautiful.
So that's kind of, I guess, really our inspiration was wanting to help other women and becoming, you know, a platform for talking about hormones. And
how has that sort of transpired?
Look, you know, we launched the end of May, early June last year, so we're only, just a little bit over a year old. And we have just the most amazing community of women, and we've grown really slowly and organically. And I think it's the stories that we hear and the testimonials that come through. Like, when we hear customers talking about feeling like themselves again, which is
like you know,
like me when I went through my Ayurvedic experience, is we hear women saying that, or that, you know, younger women with traditional PMS symptoms of heavy cramping being able to function on day one of their period. You know,
how long does it take for the
herbs to work?
Yes.
Well, it depends. Like, some of the herbs you'll notice straight away. So you will definitely feel the effects of, in our Reglow formula, you'll feel the effects of the sleep quality. Yeah. So the hops, you'll feel that pretty much.
And that's for twice a day, really, isn't it?
Well,
that's your recommendation.
When your symptoms are a little bit.
Yeah, because you told me to do twice. Yeah. I struggled to do that second one, so that's why I haven't.
I think if you take one dose every morning, and then on the days when your symptoms are a bit worse, so, you know, I'll take a second dose, say if I've had a day where my anxiety's a little bit higher, you know, because that kind of extra dose of, you know, saffron,
ashwagandha,
the beautiful sunshine spice, is amazing for supporting mild anxiety. So I'll do that I'll take a second dose. So
it'd be nice mixed into some ice cream. I just had an idea. Or like a smoothie,
No, well, I've actually got a customer that wrote in with their recipe. They mix it into yogurt and fruit in the morning. Like they make like a mango lassi and eat it.
Oh, yum.
Like eat it. And or we've got other customers that put it into their smoothie and don't taste it at all.
Yeah.
Or you can pop it into some juice. Or I actually really like it with the water because I like that little kick.
It's really nice.
I kind of feel like it's, doing something,
And what was the process like, for launching a brand, and what were the hard parts like that you didn't expect? Or
where do I start? Look, you know what it's like.
I do. Well, I don't know what it's like building a product.
Setting up your own business.
I know about the branding and I know about the marketing and stuff, but I do, like having a product and formulating and.
Yeah, look. Developing the formula was really exciting and I really loved doing that. And obviously as I was studying natural remedies and studying, a lot of papers on different herbs and herbal manufacturing,
that's the fun part. Geeking out.
The fun part. Look, with any new startup, there's a lot of challenges. Things always take a lot longer than what you think they're going to take. Things always cost a lot more money than what you think they're going to take. And but look,
like TGA stuff, was that hard?
Well,
you're not. Oh, you are.
No, well, I'm not a TGA agent, but yes, our products are TGA listed.
They are, yep.
Because they're a herbal medicine.
Okay.
And we wanted to do that because we wanted the therapeutic claims.
Yes, the therapeutic doses stuff.
And we wanted the therapeutic doses. So I think our formulas have got like close to 20 different claims on them. So
that's great.
We really wanted to make something that was going to work and address all of your main symptoms. So we didn't want a woman to have to take our formula, then supplement it with lots of other different things to support.
So this is enough ashwagandha. If your herbalist has said have ashwagandha, this is a therapeutic dose for daily, even one serving?
Yeah, the 4 gram serve. Yeah.
Oh.
Will give you your daily dose of what you need to have the claim for the adaptogen
and the
stress response in your body.
Yeah.
The saffron for the supporting mild anxiety. So, having that product TGA listed means that we can stand behind it.
That's
it
great.
works.
Yeah, it's not. What's the other category when it's a food?
Like a nutritional
food grade or something.
Supplement.
Yes.
Yeah. Which sometimes you do see a few supplements that will be like a nutritional food. But we wanted to go down the TGA route, and we worked with a team of incredible experts
here in Australia.
Just locally to just finesse the formula and get it right and make sure that it actually worked. And that's something.
Did you start any testing
Yeah, we did. We did some initial taste testing to get the flavour.
Oh yeah. Did you have any surprises there? Like, were you going for something else and then you had to pivot, or?
No, I
think always liked that flavour profile.
Yeah, well, I think we added the raspberry. We started out with just the beetroot, and we just wanted to just sweeten it a little bit more. We didn't want to go too sweet.
Because there's no sugar in it.
No, there's no sugar.
That's amazing.
There's no nasties. There's no gluten. There's no nasties in there at all. So no,
fillers.
No fillers.
Blah, blah, yep.
No preservatives.
Oh, so good.
Yeah. So
what were the biggest challenges?
Biggest challenges?
Or the hardest parts where you were like, oh God. Were there any moments where you're like, we've bitten off more than we can chew?
Yeah, look, I think to be honest, one of the biggest challenges when you are a small startup is just finding the right people to work with that can deal with small quantities. So, when you're trying to source, the
MOQs,
when you're trying to source beautiful dark packaging, and you start talking to someone and they're like, 100,000 pieces is our minimum order.
And how many were you like, we want 5?
We only want a couple of thousand. So I think that was probably one of the challenges. But look,
were you all self-funded, or did you?
Yeah, all self-funded.
Oh, so that's a big risk as well.
Yes, absolutely.
And did it cost a lot more than you thought?
Yes, a lot more than what we thought.
So for someone new to natural therapies, what's one simple change that they could make that would help them on their healing journey?
Okay, I would recommend seeing a professional. So going and connecting with an amazing naturopath or a great integrative GP, getting some blood work done, like knowing exactly where you're sitting so that you can kind of tailor, whatever type of support that you want, and that's right for you. So that's something that I've done, and it was actually part of my studies when I was studying natural remedies, is every semester I would basically have to treat myself. So I would, try out a new herb. So I would go and I would get...
Fascinating.
Yeah, I would get blood work done, look at where my hormones were, and I would try out a different...
What were your biggest discoveries from doing that?
Well, yeah, that definitely herbs work.
Herbs work.
Herbs definitely
How
work.
exciting.
And that you...
Because I'm always a bit wishy-washy with herbs. I'm like, yeah.
No.
Like, I've seen naturopaths and I've had their thing and I've gone, yeah. But I don't really...
No, they definitely...
I've never seen the evidence with my own eyes, so I haven't...
Yeah. No,
That would be frustrating. Yeah.
Herbs definitely work, and that you can, you can make a difference. If you're taking therapeutic doses of something, that you will notice the benefit. And some are a little bit more subtle, and particularly, some of your more hormone balancing ones, you need to give them a little bit more time, like at least, one cycle, to actually start to see those benefits.
Yeah.
But, there's definitely other herbs that you can notice the effects immediately, like, hops, which is in our perimenopause formula.
Yeah.
It's incredible for sleep. Hops, the same as what's in
beer.
beer. It's a sedative.
Oh,
It
right.
provides the most beautiful sleep.
Oh, great.
So
it's good before bed too.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So looking back on your whole journey so far, I mean, what's one piece of advice that you would offer your younger self with all the knowledge that you have now?
Oh, look, it's been a real journey, the last few years. And I think probably one of the things that where I've come to is just appreciating health and well-being over anything else. And I think for a really long time I worked really hard, earning money to just buy more things and collect more things. And I kind of think now, what's most important to me is having a good quality life, and that's about feeling good and feeling vibrant and feeling energetic. And I think it's really been a realignment of priorities
and values,
and values.
Yeah, well, that's beautiful. And what about your sacred six? Let's go through your
sacred six. All right, so I'll start with kind of my, physical.
Yes.
My two physical priorities.
Yep.
First one is Pilates. And look, I know that yoga is the sister science to Ayurveda, and I've done a lot of yoga over the years, but I think I've really noticed an improvement in my strength.
Yeah.
And I think when you get into your 40s, I think balance, strength become way more important than your size and your shape. Do you know what I mean? Like, so I've really, really benefited from a form of Pilates, and I love going down to our little local.
Yes, we go to Fields in Narrabeen,
And then the other thing that my husband Sam and I started during COVID, at the start of COVID, yes, we were drinking a lot but one of the things that we did for our sanity is we started going down to Mona Vale Beach and just getting in the ocean.
Oh, yes, you told me about this.
We've kept that up. We do it twice a week, every week of the year, all through. Actually, I enjoy it more in winter because I like the coolness of the water.
Yeah, so it's like an ice bath.
It is, Not quite as cold as an ice bath, but almost.
Feels like it.
Some days when there's like a roaring southerly,
yes,
the walk from the water back to the change rooms is horrific.
Yeah.
But I love that.
So no
feeling.
wetsuit?
No, I go all year in my bikini.
Wow.
Yeah, and
how long do you stay in?
10 minutes.
That's impressive.
But
that is really impressive.
Feeling.
So you go down to the pool or do you go in the ocean?
Just in the ocean.
Yeah, just have a bit of a dunk.
And that feeling when you get out, it almost feels like everything's reconnecting in your body. And that whole lymphatic movement is incredible. It's addictive.
Yeah.
It really is addictive. So, yes, we're not quite in the the Dawn Busters swimming group.
I was going to say, do you think you might go there at some stage?
Look, maybe I need to add that on my bucket list.
I think so. I'd like to do it.
It's an amazing community down there.
Have you read Phosphorescence by Julia Baird?
No, I haven't.
Read it. Yeah. She joins the ladies and swims at, like, I think Fairy Bower at Manly, and her whole book is about just it's all about finding beautiful magic in the underwater world, and it's just so beautifully written.
I'm too petrified of sharks.
Well, yeah, there's certain areas you can swim that's like, I know, I get it. Yeah.
No, but look, it's a beautiful community, and those women and men that go down there every day and swim.
Yeah, and it's a real social thing. Like you see them at Mona Vale, I'm like, oh, I want to join that club one day.
Yeah, it's a beautiful community. So they're my two kind of physical things. And then from a product, must-haves, well, obviously I'm going to say Reglow. So this is an absolute every morning, and then sometimes on some days,
let's take it out so we can see the bottle. So sometimes you do twice a day,
on those days where I'm feeling a little bit more perimenopausal.
Yes, it's beautiful. So it's quite yellow, the powder.
Yeah, that's the turmeric.
Yep. Can we open it?
Yeah.
Just show it inside. Yeah, I just want to show. Yeah, I'll keep it away. But the smell is really like, it's quite like, woo, it gives you a little wake up in the morning when you breathe it in.
It does.
Oh, woo!
You've got a
it's
good
potent.
Dose
it's potent.
Yeah, it is. It's potent because it works.
Yeah,
so that. Yeah, so that's my absolute non-negotiable. Every single morning I need to have my dose of that.
Love it.
Then my other absolute is our Ashaya Inflow face oil. So we actually did design this one to complement our Inflow PMS support.
Yeah.
But the reason why I love this one on my skin is we've got turmeric in this, and turmeric is really great for any redness and inflammation, and my skin tends to go a little bit red, so I just love putting that on, getting the Kansa wand out.
Have you got your Kansa wand here?
Yeah, I do.
Show us that. Yeah, I love it. So pretty.
Yeah.
Oh, the smell, the fragrances are beautiful.
Yeah.
So you massage that.
Yeah.
Circular.
Nice little circles. Yep. And, that stimulates, obviously blood flow, which then helps, with your collagen production.
And that's made out of?
Copper and tin.
And tell us about what happens going on the skin.
Yeah, so sometimes, and we've had customers writing going, oh, I've got like this grey mark on my face. It's actually the toxins coming out and basically oxidizing with the metal. So you just literally swipe it
So
away.
Is that what the Kansa wand is meant to do?
Yes.
That's why it's copper and tin.
Yeah.
It's meant to draw the toxins out of your skin.
Yeah, the impurities.
I thought it was just a nice smooth thing to massage with.
The other thing with it as well is it keeps like a nice cool temperature. So it's like, especially in summer, it's like actually really.
I'll have a go with that.
Quite,
I'm just going to sit here and have a little go.
Yeah, you can.
Okay, what are your other ones?
Okay, and then obviously, you can never take the beauty out of a beauty girl.
Yeah. We'll always love our bits and bobs, won't we?
As much as I'm on this well-being and the whole natural approach, there's just some absolute must-haves.
Yes.
I always have
MAC and ultraviolet. Oh, yeah.
No, this is just
I love that.
Every day I go through so much.
Is that Screen Queen?
This is Screen
Queen.
Yeah, ultraviolet. Just love it. It's so dewy.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
And that goes on every single morning. And then, look, I'm
still faithful. I love it.
Look, there's still some.
Which one's that?
So this
mascara. Oh yeah, people can't see. Sorry, we're because this is a podcast too. So we're just holding up the MAC.
This is
mascara.
the MAC in Extreme Dimension waterproof mascara. So obviously, because I go swimming, dipping twice a week, it's just really soft on your lashes. Like it's not a brittle waterproof mascara.
Okay.
So this is,
How do you get it off though? Is it hard to get off?
Well, you can actually use a little bit of oil.
Okay.
So any kind of oil-based cleanser, or even, sometimes I've just used our Inflow face oil to just take it off. Any oil.
We should mention that this is ultraviolet is a sunscreen for people who can't see, because I always forget that this is a video, but not everyone's watching it. So yes, Jodie loves ultraviolet Screen Queen, which is SPF 50 lightweight sunscreen, and it's in a serum like dropper, so it's more like a skincare product.
And then my other absolute must-have is Bare Minerals Complexion Rescue.
Oh, I haven't seen that brand for ages.
So this is just a skin perfecting tint, and I think probably one of the things that you learn as you
grow older
and wiser,
travel down the path of life.
Yeah, exactly. Is that less is more.
Yes,
and
agree.
I think maybe back in the day I probably applied quite a much heavier foundation, but like just a tint now.
Yeah,
This
me too.
Pretty much is all I will put on my face. So,
Sunscreen and a tint.
Yeah. So this is my I
lovely.
love the Bare Minerals Complexion Rescue tint. Yeah.
Beautiful in ginger. Isn't it sort of so ironic that in our 20s, when our skin is so perfect and full of youth,
I know, we cover
it up, and then in our 40s and 50s, we just strip it right back.
I know.
But I guess you can't, like, as you get the lines, it just all collects. Like, you can't really go powdered it's all about glow.
You want to, exactly.
And sheer, beautiful radiance. Yeah. Oh, I love those.
Okay.
Well, thank you. It's been such a pleasure to hear your story and to hear all your beautiful tips and to look at peri from a different perspective, because it's, at the moment the talk is all about the hormones and, it's all about the medical kind of intervention and things that we can do. But I love hearing this sort of natural alternative to managing your hormones. And
we're not alone. I think the statistics now, they're crazy. Like over 80% of women suffer with severe to moderate to severe symptoms during perimenopause. So, just reach out to that girlfriend because, she may look like she's okay. But
like you did.
Like I did. And
gritting your teeth and putting on a brave face.
She's probably really struggling every day and needing some support. So,
well, that's why sharing podcasts like this with your friends when they're suffering and, that just opens up conversation and, just telling people that your own symptoms is a good way to start, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Just saying what you're going
through.
So
thank you for doing this.
No, thank you.
And, with Menopause Awareness Month.
Yes, this is happening right now.
It's the perfect time for all of us to be sharing our stories. So thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you.
And allowing me to come and share mine.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for joining me on this episode of Beautiful Inside. If you enjoyed this, the best thing you can do is share it with a friend, leave a review or give us a rating.